just hopping on today. You guys asked some questions, so I'm gonna answer them the best I can. I appreciate all the feedback, all the questions that I received, and yeah, we're gonna jump in and get going. So yeah, I put out, I think the other day, just some questions that some people had, or tips that they wanted to talk about, or just anything when it comes to kind of parenting through that behavioral lens. And so we're just gonna jump into a few questions that I received and make it do what it do. And so the first one, I got a question concerning socializing tips for toddlers. Just do it. It depends on your child, of course. It depends on their age appropriateness, whatever your expectations are for them. I always tell parents to look at developmental stages. If you do have concerns, whether on or off the spectrum, on where you want your child to be, where the doctors or physicians want them to be, and then your expectations or your goals for your children in those situations, right? Because we want them to enjoy themselves in that social setting. We want them to play in a functional manner. We want them to engage in appropriate behaviors. As a parent in those situations, you want them to get along and have an enjoyable time there. So my tips are for parents to just do it. Sometimes it's going to be kind of stressful for you guys based upon maybe a past event that didn't go so well. But the more you guys do it, the more you'll get more confident in yourselves, the more confident your child will become as well too. And same for them. If they didn't have an enjoyable time, maybe you can take them to another area, or find some more friends, or maybe even slowly kind of build up to maybe a big playground or play zone area, or have play dates. If your neighbor or somebody that you work with has a child that might be the same age, invite them over. Start kind of desensitizing the kids to each other or to the situation, or sharing, or playing with one another. I think that's the easiest way to do it, is baby steps. So we're not going to take them and just throw them in Disneyland and be like, all right, cool, have a great time, like, let's figure it out. You can do that. It probably might become aversive. So I would say take a step back, start small, start with, age appropriateness at your church, your local church, or if you have other cousins, your cousin's kids, or, different school activities or picnics or field trips, things like that. Just start slow, build up to it, understand your expectations or what you want. Also do your research on developmental, expectations as well too. So, you have an idea. You're not trying to promote, a 6-year-old social behavior when your son or daughter may be only 2 or 3. So know what you're looking for. Go out and do it. Figure it out. Kind of learn on the job. I think that's going to be your best training. Me, I'm big on natural consequences, both positive and negative. So we only know how great our jump shot works, until we're in the game. So yeah, I would say that's my tips for overall social interactions for your toddlers, or for your little babies going out into the world and growing up right in front of your faces. The next one we had was information on puberty for our kiddos on the spectrum. I've had a few of these cases. I've seen them go both ways. So I'll tell you one way where I had an older client who, I guess didn't have, let's see how to put this, he did have the tools. So we're talking about puberty, right? So we're talking about possible increase in emotions, hormones. Boys will be boys, ladies will be ladies. I'm speaking as a man going through puberty, middle school, I think, hormones, she's cute, I like her, etc., etc. Feeling yourself, understanding how things work, sex education, different things like that we've hopefully all been through and understood and learned. And so, of course, that's going to be intensified by our child having a autism diagnosis. So I don't know your son or daughter in that situation, but what I've told parents is this situation is how do you guys want to handle it? So we know with puberty becomes exploration, questions, masturbation is kind of the big topic around puberty. So in that household, I say, okay, well, what are your guidelines to, pleasuring yourself, masturbation, different things like that? And so the parents give me their reasons and I say, okay, well, it's up to you and your household. If you want to give your son or daughter alone time, okay, cool. Hey, we're going to talk about masturbation. We're going to talk about puberty. We're going to talk about the emotions and hormones and things that you feel. This is what's not okay, but then this is what is okay. I tell parents to be honest in that situation. No need to sugarcoat it or try and hide them. Kiddos are finding out information at alarming rates that we didn't when we were children. I had incidents where I think maybe 5 years ago, it was elementary school and kids got caught looking at, pornography on their cell phones on a field trip. And they were like, I don't know, what, 4th grade, 5th grade? Where, it was a little bit later for me in that sense. And so your kids are going to find out sooner or later. So as parents, I would say just do your part, be honest with them, outline what your expectations are, whether if it's a spiritual thing, whether it's, physical, biological thing. Let them know that they do have outlets and not to be ashamed of what's going on. I think naturally neurotypical teenagers or, both men and women have that kind of sense of my body's changing, what's going on, like this is weird. So that, like I said, that only intensifies if you have a child on the spectrum or not. And so I would say, just be open and honest, outline, the do's and the don'ts, and things like that. Make sure you're on one accord with your husband or wife or partner, or your significant other, so you guys don't have two different, views on the topic. But I would say, that's my tip, is to be open, honest, and just let them know what it is. I mean, it happens to, every human being. If it's time, it's time. I'd rather, kind of me open the door for them than, their friends opening the door for them, where it could be, not the best in that situation. So that's my tip for that second question. I appreciate that. That one is tricky to be in your position. But good luck. Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. How about that? The last one is gentle parenting. Someone wanted to know the ins and outs and my thoughts on it. So I'm going to let you know. I think I've consulted one person that I spoke, or one mother that was working on gentle parenting. I had to do research myself too, because I'm not too familiar with it. And so prior to our consultation, I did, some research, found out what it was, how, that mom was, or how that family was implementing it. And so my quick overview of it was, it's just based off, and I wrote it down here, empathy, boundaries, understanding, self-aware, age appropriateness, respect. I'll preface this topic, like each household is different. I can only elaborate on my experience as a Black man in a Black family, where gentle parenting was not a phrase that we threw around. We know gentle parenting is something new. It's something that's kind of a buzzword that's trendy, right? And it's things that people are adapting to. Whatever you want to do in your household, that's your prerogative. If it's working, be my guest. If you're more of a coach to your child, if you're more motivating, to your child, you can do this, hoorah, and that's effective for your child, then keep doing it. I think a lot of the times when we do try to figure out how to be a parent, we pull automatically from how we were parented. And either you're going to take what you've learned or you're going to go the total opposite way. And so whatever works for you in your situation with husband, wife, significant other, partner, you guys can figure out what you want to adapt for your child. And so if, using more positive language, if using more, I would say, age appropriate language or more self-aware language. We have to understand if we're pushing for self-awareness, which I read was one of the kind of keys of gentle parenting. We have to understand what a 2 or 3 year old awareness is. So if you guys don't understand the stages that your children are in, awareness goes out the window. Because if we're saying, okay, they know what they're doing and they're doing it purposely, yet they're 2 or 3 years old and they don't know what they're doing and they're just tantruming, then there's going to be that natural disconnect in that situation. Like I said, for me, it was a very punitive household. I think Black families and households more often than not have that kind of punitive system, where it's, I'll give you something to cry about, or the opposite, what are you crying for? Very can be misogynistic. Boys don't cry, hide your emotions, be tough, things like that in that situation. So gentle parenting, as long as it's effective for you, by any means do it, but you have to have your boundaries, right? So if I've been gentle parenting for 6 months and I'm not seeing the results, then maybe I need to be more punitive. Maybe I need to try a different parenting style. Maybe I need to switch it up a little bit because the gentle parenting is not giving me the outcomes that I want. And I've told you guys a lot through my videos and stuff as well too, that if we want a change in behavior, both positive and or negative, and our consequences or what we're doing is not increasing or decreasing that behavior, then what's the point of doing it, right? I believe the overall definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly over and over, expecting different results. So why would I continue to gentle parent and coach and motivate, and my son or daughter is still doing the negative behavior or the behavior that I don't want or the triggering, whatever it is, right? So you and your husband need to huddle up, look at a different parenting style. I'm sure there's new ones, every year. And you guys are going to find out what works for you and your household in that situation. That's my thought on gentle parenting. If it works, by any means. If not, then switch it up. I mean, I'm always a proponent of switching it up. If it's good or if it's not, right? Flexibility, not only with our kiddos, but as parents. You guys need to be flexible in every situation and understand and kind of have that self-awareness on why am I upset? Why did this happen? Why am I triggered? Is this trauma related? Have I worked through my trauma? Have I worked through how I was raised? So there's so many things that go into parenting that gentle parenting right now, like I said, is a buzzword. It's trendy. So I would say, go a little bit deeper, like do your own, therapeutic journey. Because if I just read something on Google and I'm like, oh, gentle parenting, hey babe, I want to try this. Yet I haven't worked through the trauma of a single household that I grew up in or an abusive household that I grew up in, then no matter how many times you read over that Google document or that Google search of gentle parenting and how parents say, oh, it's, one of the best practices out right now, that trauma is going to be triggered by something that your son or daughter does. So I'd be careful just to adapt to something without working through your issues first. Because if you don't work through your issues, if your husband or partner don't work through their issues, then all this masquerading of, oh yes, I'm a gentle parent, or all this stuff that's going on it's not going to last for long. So understand where your parenting style comes from, where your values lie, what's, morale to you, where are you coming from? Where are you getting your parenting style from? Figure that out before you just say, okay, I want to try gentle parenting. You want to deep dive, get all those demons out, let those skeletons out the closet, give them the boot, and then figure it out. So those are the 3 questions I have for you guys, or that you guys have for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll probably do those polls a lot more. Like I said, I just be talking half the time, going off experiences and consultations that I have throughout the week or the month. And I'll write it down and be like, okay, YouTube video. But yeah, I like the kind of random questions. They kind of keep me on my toes, do a little extra research, like I said, with the gentle parenting. and different things like that. So I hope I gave you guys some clarity on those questions that you asked. I'm out of town next week, so I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm on vacation out of the country. So you guys will probably see me mid-April. I'll be back on it like I never left. So I'll see you guys in like 2 weeks.